Well, time is running out for certain small business loans that were established during the pandemic. So, how do you know what funding is still available? Here to tell us all about it is the man known as hip hop's financial advisor, our guy Rob Wilson of Wilson Insight. Welcome back to Start Your Day. Good morning to you. First of all, Rob, I didn't realize they were still giving out PPP loans. I hear about $3 billion was still up for grabs. But the clock is ticking on these loans, right? So what do people who are trying to get them need to know?
Yeah, the clock is definitely ticking, and unfortunately, there's really less than 1% of the $800 billion that was allocated for the second round of the PPP still left. But if you are in need of funds and you have not put in an application yet, you need to look for what's called a Community Development Financial Institution, CDFI, in your area, because there has been specifically funds set aside for those organizations that are more in predominantly minority dominated neighborhoods who still can process those applications. So if you go to the SBA website, there's a list of lenders. Look for one of those lenders in your community and get that application in as soon as possible, because after May 31st, they're not taking any more. The program will be over.
Yeah. So, Rob, a program called the EIDL, we've learned that they've raised the loan limit there. So explain how that works and who's eligible.
Sure. So this is also a program for small business owners who have been severely impacted by the coronavirus. And so there was a round of this when the virus first popped up last year. And what they did now is they raised the limit. So initially, when you applied, the maximum that you could get was $150,000. Now, since they had a lot of money left in the program, in the new bill, they raised the limit to $500,000 that you could possibly get, depending on how impacted you were. The SBA is still taking those applications, and so you need to go to the website and apply for that as soon as possible. Either a new application if you never applied, or if you did receive the funds, you can go in and ask for that increase up to a maximum of $500,000. So it's really a great program to try to get involved with.
Rob, I'm gonna go off topic a little bit, but these loans for these businesses, money from the government has been a good thing, but we've been hearing too many stories about businesses that shouldn't get it are getting it and getting millions of dollars, and then we hear about these small businesses that apply and they get turned down, which is always sad. So if you were on one of these small businesses that were out there and you apply and you got turned down and there's still money available, can they reapply?
Well, it's if you have already been turned down, no, it's probably not going to be able for you to reapply. But what I would say is this isn't necessarily going to be the last go round. And the thing that we saw with the PPP, EIDL, and a bunch of the other programs is that the people who were the first in line were often folks who had established relationships with financial institutions, who had bankers and financial advisors and accountants who could help them walk through the process. And so what I would say is that it's important for you to have what I call your financial fantasy team. You need to have people in your circle who can help you in these instances and help you find access to these funds. Historically, we have been left out. In the first round of the PPP, less than 2% of minority-owned businesses got access to those funds, and I think it was largely because of who they had connections to. So if we work on that, I think we'll be more prepared the next time these programs come down the pipe.
Yeah, it seems like we were at a disadvantage from the start then, right? Because so many don't have these banking relationships. What is done, closed, no more? What programs?
Well, the PPP's ending this May 31st, and so that's going to be gone. I think what we should be happy about is that there are some things that are still open. You can still get the enhanced unemployment benefits of the $300 a week, which is really, really needed for a lot of people who are trying to get back to work but can't find the perfect job. Now, you do have to check with your state, because some of the states are saying that, listen, we're giving out too much money. It's inhibiting companies' ability to bring their employees back. So they are putting the brakes on a lot of those benefits. So check with your state. But for most of the states in the union, you can still get those enhanced unemployment benefits. So if you're having trouble putting money on the table, food on the table, keeping that roof over your house, do not be afraid to apply for those unemployment benefits.
And you can get more information at sba.gov, as you mentioned. I want to talk to you about personal finances, not my own personal finances this time. I'm not going to do that, Rob. I'm not going to do that. We're talking about other people out there. But let's say if you missed the deadline, you filed for an extension while you're filing for these taxes. What if you didn't file for an extension? What should we know because you missed that deadline?
This is a real good question, Mike. And so if you forgot or if you missed the deadline, you didn't get in your extension or you didn't file your taxes, you should file them as soon as possible because you don't want to make a bad situation worse. If you do owe money, that is continuing to accrue interest for every day that you don't pay. So look, if you missed it, things happen, that's fine, but don't compound the problem by letting interest continue to accrue on the money that you owe the IRS. Get your extension or get your return in there as soon as possible.
Okay, so that's if you just
Rob,
missed it.
Nobody forgot.
What if you filed an extension? Somebody filed an extension for you? You still going to pay the interest?
So here's the thing. When you file an extension, it's an extension of the time to file, but it is not an extension of the time to pay. And that's what I think many people get confused about. So here's the deal. Let's say you owe a bunch of money and you can't necessarily pay all of that today. Pay what you can. Pay something. Pay $100 towards it. So at least you've shown that you're putting some money in good faith, and that's going to lower the amount that's going to be accruing interest. So pay what you can, get the extension in. Don't get in more trouble than is necessary.
I'm gonna let Nick know that.
Part
Nick,
for me.
tell Nick.
Don't get in.
You better.
Okay, we'll pass it along to some friends. And listen, you are a wealth of information for us. Financial advisor Rob Wilson, thanks so much for starting your day with us.